Hello guys, so let me just set up some things here a bit. Just set up a bit of things here, then we can start off the stream. So for those who don't know me, I'm Felix Oreda. I've been a software developer for quite a while. I'd say at professional level, 2 years, and there's a lot that I have learned in the process. So that's the motivation to bring such kind of contents in this software development domain. So I have a lot of things that I feel I wish to achieve, and maybe you only realize you can achieve your dreams by executing them. So implementing into action, and let's just say I might build maybe the next big thing, though depending on the perception. So I feel if we have something better, I'll just share a bit. Let me just make some communications here. So I have a small community of developers, and I believe building a greater software requires a lot in mind, and requires you to probably be someone who is very curious, someone who is driven, and you really want to execute your dreams. So if you have an ambition to pursue something, I'd say it's best if you just make sure to start executing in the lowest level, and just with time you just find out you can achieve a lot by just doing very little, and that very little can bring up a channel of fellow members who I think can be able to help you in achieving major milestones in what you expect. So at personal level, I had started off web development with Python, and it was like my mother language. So I found out that I could do a lot with Python, but on it, what I saw so much was just detailed on, let's say, I did Flask. I also did JavaScript a bit, but I didn't do much before. So what I can say had been compelling me was that I loved Python and didn't want to learn any other language. But the moment I learned of the capabilities that were there in JavaScript, I think I couldn't hold back, and that has been something which has been driving me, and I've been trying to achieve. Okay, so I'm trying to achieve what it is that it seems really hard building these softwares, but you'll just find out that majorly it's just the fundamental things that you learn here and there, and they're not so much complicated. So I'm just going to embark on this journey of building this project. So if someone would wish to collaborate, well and good. I'll be having a public repository for this. So just stay hooked, and I believe we can build something better. So let me just confirm if my video is okay. Just wait. Some light. Just put up some lights. So that it's not like fully. So my journey on software development just began in Egerton, and I saw so many developers who are building very sophisticated software, building very sophisticated software, very sophisticated software. Okay, so just keeping up with the charts here. so that in case someone says something, I'll be here to maybe receive the messages. Don't worry about setup and what have you. So best of all, I think with whatever I'd learned at Egerton, with the community that we had been having at Egerton, it showed me that with unity and collaboration, we could really achieve a lot. So taking all, I'll say for the first time that I went on something like an out, we'll call it out. Then we met these people who are using the Google products. Let's say Flutter, and then Flutter was there then, and we had Angular and we had other tools. So I'm not so much into mobile development, and I've been more of thinking on things to deal with low-level stuff like embedded systems or operating systems, building network drivers, and many others. But I'd say it's not that easy to find resources to build around, and that's a challenge. So we started off with this. We started off with an idea to kind of build a framework with nodejs, because I primarily use nodejs and Express for building my web applications and for the backend stuff. I think I'm past using the templates, but from the look of things, we are moving to the side of the templates, like handlebars, JS. I really love those tools, but I just wish I had a platform. I'm really fascinated by how the Python community is, and with whatever they have. Okay, so JavaScript community is also good. We have a bunch of frameworks that people use. That is mostly Express, Nest, Fast API. I know people have built so many tools, but they require so much plugins. So when you need to work on something, you need to install A or B or C. Okay, in as much as all these tools we can build them in one thing. So I've been looking at Vue.js, which is a front-end framework, and the community is quite big. And being that Vue started off as a hobby project, I'm trying to view Django. I think Django is over 12 years old, and Flask around 10 years plus. There are others which came before and after, and maybe I've not made it to this point. I know of, let's say, there's one here, just forgot the name, but there are things that people have really tried to work on, but they failed. Okay, so with me, what I have in mind is I've looked at WordPress, and I really love how WordPress simplifies things. So Node.js, you'll find out that everyone is trying to look at, okay, what's the framework that people use? Express. So, okay, let's use Express. Which ORM are we going to use? Then now you'll find so many ORMs that people want to use. There's SQLite, there's Type ORM, there's Drizzle.js, there's Prisma.js, and all these have their own tooling. So personally, I'd love to like have house things in one point that we can kind of I'd say opinionated in a way, but I don't think if that's really right. So it's sometimes good to set rules, because I've seen things done with Angular.js. They have the framework around dependency injection and 1, 2, 3, and the same principle is followed on, let's say, Nest.js. So Nest.js behaves like Angular, one or the other, and with that, I find that there's quite some boilerplate, but if we see how Angular is written, you'll see we have code generation, that is number one. We also have directory structure, that is something which is defined, and we also have things to do with the templates and where you're supposed to be doing your HTML and CSS. So with this baked in, you find that things are already defined for you. So I've explored Django, I explored Angular.js, I've explored Nest.js, I've explored Express.js, and I've explored WordPress. And currently, you'll see mostly people have WordPress because it's kind of drag and drop, and there are more tools coming up with drag and drop features. One thing I love about Django is the way if you register, you have like an admin panel where if you register maybe your model, you're able to manipulate data here and there based on relationships. You're able to like see drop downs of items that maybe you'd want to match to your given other models. So with that, I think it's kind of simplifying the process, and I'd say it's easy one or the other, and there's also some complexities attached to it. So if I'm thinking of building something to support whatever has been built in the JavaScript ecosystem, that means I have to take consideration of the ORMs, the templating engines that are already existing, like EJS, handlebars, and others that maybe I've not explored. Then now finding a way to integrate all these tools. Maybe if someone wants to write React and serve it directly instead of writing HTML, so you can serve React inside the framework, serving Vue, those other frameworks that are available. It's kind of an uphill task looking at the whole process, but thinking of a way of maybe breaking it down so that we'll try to handle these things per module, meaning if I'll take on let's say the CLI, we started with the CLI, and So I'll just maybe start off here with just create a folder known as, so I think I need to just open up my terminal here so that okay, yeah. So we had this idea of building this framework with a friend of mine, but things didn't go as planned because there are a lot of engagements here and there. So you'll find that finding time to maybe work on these open source projects is one of the major things if maybe you're serving a role in a given company and you are looking for time to maybe work on open source projects. And for you to work on open source projects, you have to read a lot of code from GitHub. There are those on GitLab. Just trying to locate your framework, how it's built, and the tooling around building of those frameworks. So I believe I might start this off as a single person, then others may join in, but I'll be streaming the progress and how we'll be taking up on this application so that from the charts, I think just so welcome to the chats. So the name of the framework is we started off with the name kipJs because we named it kipJs, and I think let me just quit. Reason why we named it kipJs was after a Kenyan legendary known as Kipchoge. So he did the under 2 hours, the 1.59, 159. So we thought building some framework that is so it's something I'm starting off today, but the name was kipJs. So kipJs, this will be the groundbreaking. So I have like a map out of how I'll start, but I don't know how it will end because maintenance of these things really take a lot of time. So we'll start off, let me just draft here a readme. So the first thing that maybe we'll start off with is because if you're someone who has worked with frameworks like Next, we have Next.js, Nest.js, Angular. So Angular has the ng. When Vue was starting, it started with the Vue, I don't know, there was something about Vue CLI, and now we are using Vite. So Express is just like React. You pack things and start building on top of it. And if you're building a framework, that means you have to build a lot of tooling around the CLI and look at developer experience and make sure that when the developers using this, they kind of enjoy using it. but with their ideas, I think usually open source is driven by the users, but it starts off with the idea from the creator. So this might be my idea, then we'll find out ways how to proceed with this. So reason why I believe I'll build this or will build this for those who are willing to maybe partner on this. After the after this stream, I'll be creating a repo and we'll share in the description of the video, so that for anyone who wants to see how this is built, you'll be able to see. Then we'll find out how tooling around JavaScript works. So I'll start off just by writing a simple README here. So the name is kipJs. So we have kipJs planning. That is so welcome to the stream, Bruno. I think what people really love about open source, you're usually told you start out as someone who documents, then later on you become a maintainer. So once you're a user, you become a maintainer when things don't work. So let me just draft a map out of how things will work. So let's say I'll go with phase 1. So on phase 1, we'll have the CLI. There's always a way. Okay. So after the CLI is now the command line interface for using this framework. So welcome everyone to the stream. For those, you can subscribe on the channel. There's also access to what do you call it? Twitch. There's Twitch Live for Linda82, and also on Facebook if you're following from there. So those who are on YouTube, you can subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And I also have a WhatsApp group where we have a list of JavaScript enthusiasts, and we usually answer questions for those who have challenges with their applications. So map out, I'm thinking of first phase will be building the CLI. A reason why I want to first build the CLI is because that's the entry point to the application. So why has Vite really gained momentum? If you're using Vite, you don't even realize the tooling behind it. You just write npx or pnpm or yarn Vite create pnpm create Vite, npx create Vite, and that's how simple it is to use. So the same approach, we can take that and put it here. So after the CLI, we'll move to working with formulating. Let me see, formulating directory. So this is the project. So from there, we'll move to, once we design how the project will be laid out, after the CLI, then we formulate how the project will be mapped out. I'm trying to look at Django as a point of reference. and other frameworks. So Flask has something a concept known as blueprints. So we can take that approach also, but it doesn't dictate on the folder structure. So after formulating the folder structure, we can work on something known as code generation. So after code generation, then at that point it means just I think this markdown isn't as for so after code generation, then we'll now look at point of integration. So I'll just keep it at this at the moment, but there are other things that we'll also need to put in this. But in the list, we have working on an ORM stroke ODM. So ORM, this is object relational mapper. So this is object. Then this should be document relational. So we have the ODM and the ORM. Then once we are done with the ORM, we can work on settings. But we can move settings up a bit. After the CLI, we can work on the settings, then formulating the directory structure. Then we move on the code generation, then the ORM. So up to this point, I think we'll primarily have almost everything. Then I will now start working on the internals. Internals now that will include whether we're going to go with the Express straight, and or if you're going to use pure node. But if you've seen whatever we have in the system currently, you see nest.js is using Express under the hood. Many of these frameworks, you find that they're using Express under the hood, and if Express will make it faster for us to maybe build this, we can take on it, so that we see. We'll try to figure out and investigate what building with the node, pure node, will entail. I know now we also have ban, so we'll try to look for ways by which we'll integrate all these domains of JavaScript. So this is what we have for phase 1. So phase 2, maybe someone else will be able to define, but this is what I have in mind at the moment. I don't want to overplan or overdo something. This is just something which is to start off. So I've just started off with a README here, and the next thing is to figure out how this will be done. So with the current way by which people do things, just GitHub. So if maybe I pull up Vue.js on GitHub, they have where is it? Okay. I'm not sure if these people pulled these things aside, but last time I checked, this thing was a mono. was a monorepo. Oh, okay, it's a monorepo. So you'll see we have things to deal with packages. So in the packages, you'll find we have core features. That is, you see we have view, we have what is shared, we have maybe runtime core, reactivity, compiler, SSR. Going this route is kind of an overkill at the moment because we're starting lean. But when things reach there, it would be really nice to build on this. So it's not like I have everything in mind to work on this and be doing a lot of documentation checking online, referring to how people have built things so far. I won't be reinventing the wheel, but for the framework, I think reinventing the wheel. I don't know why people haven't really built something on JavaScript, but I feel I want to build something. So for those who will be supporting, I believe it will be something to learn. You learn one or two things from this, and also maybe share this in your portfolio. It might be something. So starting off, I've already created a README. With this, if I won't add anything to deal with the license, those will come later. So just with this, I'll come to VS Code here, initialize the repository, then, okay, let me just do it in a different way. Just remove the Git first. Then now I think we can reload window. Then we can finish GitHub, and I'll just need kipJs. Once that's placed, let me just see what's happening. Should take to what's happening to VS Code. So publish to, okay. So I'll publish it under public. So if you want it, you can go to github.com/forinda kipJs. Then which files? That one. Okay. So it's published. If I open it on GitHub, should be able to see it here. But let me see the things which aren't really working on VS Code. So we'll work on it, then figure out how it's being published. Is it my network or something? So I think it's something to do with my network. Let me just see. So okay, just see my network here. Okay. So preview that. There's always a way of having things to deal with to-dos in GitHub. I don't know, where this place here. Okay, GitHub lockdown. So lockdown, then I wanted to do. GitHub Markdown cheat sheet. Okay. So what I want is not a list. I want to do. Okay. To-dos. Okay. Okay. Nice. So there's how you do it. So you add a list, then you preview that. Yeah, I think that's what I was missing here. So then I think I can make this bold. So for phase one, we'll work on the CLI, the settings, then formulating directory structure for the project. Afterwards, we'll go to code generation and maybe later on work on the ORM. So with this in place, maybe I'll just commit these changes. So with this, I'd like to show you something on this. I can have something to do with projects. So if I come to projects, provide access to relevant projects. So link a project. I can create a new project here. Then, so this will support something like, for those who work with Trello. So for those who work with something to do with Trello, or what do you call it, Jira. So you can have a board with a list of tasks. So for us to have reference to, can you explain? Okay, so I am Harshil. Can you explain in few words what you're trying to build and what is the purpose of it? So I'm trying to build a framework like Django for Node, then so that we can have like if you're someone who has worked with Django, I think you really understand. But for someone who has not worked with Django, let me just explain to you how Django usually works. So Django has this concept of apps. So you build an app, then once you build an app, that app, what happens to it is you can ship it. So it's like a package that you can ship to another project. So you can just extract it, then ship it to another project. So what I want to achieve here is many people usually struggle, especially those who are starting off. They really struggle to get the concept of Express, Nest.js, and there's so many frameworks. I know there are already so many frameworks. Even Burn has a series of its own frameworks. But most of them are just going in the express way of doing things, which I think Express has been a de facto for better moment. And let me just create this project and try to explain something here. So then I can rename this to kipJs. So JS project board. So then we can save these changes. Okay. I think this is enough. So I have projects here. Okay. So I have this kipJs, which is here. So what I'm trying to explain, we usually have Django dashboard. So they usually have like an admin panel. I think it's admin panel. So for someone who has worked with Django, you'll see usually Django has an admin panel where you can manage your models. You can manage your models. You can handle auth from there. So like for instance, we have this. You can see we have URL, title, content, sites. So these are fields which are in the model, and you can see you can easily add data directly here. So another thing which has really made me to really think of building this project is because Postman, when you look at Postman, usually they have like a subscription-based way of doing things. So usually they charge, maybe I'll say it's extravagant pricing. But I was impressed by, there's a project done under Flask that really documents projects like, let me just open up something here on Box API. So if you come to Box, there's this tooling known as Box for managing files. You see, let's say you want to, let's say, endpoints authorized user. So you'll find they have this kind of documentation, right? So it's listed all here. Then there's this where you can mock. So you can document things within the system. So I want to be able to auto-generate documentation. Doing Swagger, I know it's the industry standard at the moment, but I have had challenges with the Swagger because I think you have to group things based on tags. Then I can remember I was presenting a project somewhere for a role, and I think it was hell navigating around things. So having to be able to build self-documenting framework, maybe a standard ORM, you have a CLI and code generation, that can be something that is really great. And having a way to map the details of your models to the UI, so that you don't need to, let's say for someone who is using Django, there's Django REST framework. So Django REST framework usually has that JSON interface for managing and maybe posting data, updating data directly from the UI. So I really have seen a lot done in other fields that is not JavaScript, and I haven't seen one framework in JavaScript that satisfy most things that maybe I may need. So that's why I'm feeling like writing one. I know it's quite huge, but we'll surely figure it out. So I'm going to use TypeScript, and we'll just look at how you figure things out. So I believe everything is possible under the sun as long as you put in the work and determination. So I'll just start off the project. So if I'm using VS Code, and you can see the formatting has changed here, but I don't know whether if there is a markdown for a markdown plugin, GitHub. There's a GitHub markdown flavor. Okay. Let's see if that will do the work. If I preview this, yeah, nice. So I think we have this. Yeah. I think it's not bad. Yeah. So we'll just start simple. So we'll start off by building a simple CLI. So how I usually start a project is to make sure I have so I think if I am Hashil, you're still around. If I haven't answered your question, you might just maybe put up something so that maybe I can explain more if there's any clarification you need. So I'll start with simple setup for everything so that whatever we'll be building here has a structure. So we'll start by creating a package. So if you've worked with maybe few these libraries, you note that we usually create a virtual environment where you install your dependencies. Then after installing dependencies, you can work on it without interfering with the global dependencies in your system. So I'll just start off by let's for better part of the frameworks I've seen out here, they use they majorly use yarn. So check for view. So let's jump to Vue.js core. These ones are using PNPM. So PNPM, I think it has a better way of handling what do you call it? There's something to do with the monorepos. So I won't take the monorepo approach at the moment. We'll just start by building the CLI. Then if now we start working on other tooling, then we can maybe move to that point. So for now, we just keep it clean. So I'll create this yarn. I'll create package.json here using npm. So I can choose to go with the Y, but I'll just go through these prompts, filling out this message. So the package name is kipJs. Version, I think we're not at 1, so I'll put it at 0.0, maybe 1. So that, yeah, so that point. So nodejs framework, maybe just call it backend. Filling for, so these things will just change with time. Entry point index.js, test command, just call it test. Git repository, this thing hasn't really detected the Git repository, so I can just pull up here. So we have for render kipJs. So going to that repository, can have .git, and still should lead us there. So I think I'll place it here. .jt. So let's have JavaScript JS framework, then TypeScript. I think that will do it for now. Author, call it Felix or render. Then just leave the license as is. Then we'll have that. So how do we work on this? Let's test. Follow link. If I go, does it take me there? Yeah. If I go to this one, does it take me? Yeah, no issues. Then if I go to the home page, does it take me there? Yes, it takes me there. So we have the home page set up, the bugs issue tracker, and the repository URL. So I'll just maybe commit this, add JSON, then commit that. So that's how simple it is to start. That's how you start working on a project usually. So with us here, what we'll be having is to move to the next phase. So we already have the package.json. We'll install. So for now, okay. There are these concepts here known as, if I can just open on the side here. If you're working on a project, let's say you have React.js, maybe version 6.5. Then your project is at project Y is at maybe 3.2. So this project works well with React 6.5, but maybe someone who is going to use it is going to, when someone comes to use React, let's say 18, or with it, meaning better part of this project will fail. So that's where now you usually have things to deal with peer dependencies. So peer dependencies are dependencies that uh, you don't really need them. You only need them for development, and maybe for runtime functionality, you'll need it installed. So at the point that you'll be installing your application, you need it installed for the project to run. So if you usually use npm, you'll find this issue of peer dependencies. And what brings them about is maybe you are having two versions of React in the same project, because someone's package needed React 6.5 for it to work, and the package managers know that you have to install this version of it, regardless of whether you have 18 or not, or a later version um, of React. So with this, you'll find that here, what we'll be having, we can choose. There are those which are really required by the system, and those maybe which are not required by the system. So I'll start off by installing. So as dev dependencies, TypeScript, because we only need it for development. TS node, then add types node. So TypeScript will enable us to write TypeScript. TS node will enable us to write. We'll be watching. Then we can have nodemon. So nodemon will be watching for our file changes. So I'll just use the latest version of TypeScript. So we'll install that. So with this, you can see there is an issue here. The local project doesn't define a package manager field. Copac will now add one referencing yarn 1.2. So I won't really need this here, and you can see alongside installing this, only this, you find that these other dependencies have been installed. So that's what really happens. It's not only in JavaScript, I've seen it in Python too. So I'd built I'd initially built let's say, how do you call it, a CLI tool for generating ignore files, and I think it's time now I use it here. So it's called ngit ignore. So I'll use npx to execute it. Then you pass a flag of create. So once I run that, then this was my first package to publish on npm. So once it's done, you'll have to print something on the screen. So you can see we have a .gitignore file here, which will have a list of things. So major things were taken out from this website. There's this website known as Top Total. Top Total. If you want to use it, ignore. So if you want to write ignore files, you can use this website. what they'll require you to specify such operating systems, IDEs, or programming languages. So if I write JavaScript, JS, yes. So you can say Vue.js, React. You have React there. We have Express. Not sure if they have Node. So once you specify these fields, then you just click on create. So then it will generate a bunch of references to files that should be ignored. So I leveraged some of this to build that CLI tool. Then you see it generates this list of packages. So for now, what I'll need to do here, just because we don't need much of this. So for yarn, I think we'll return yarn. We'll have yarn there. We don't have word well, how do you call it? Webpack. So yarn v2, I don't think I have v2, but we can just remove that. So here we can have .vs code. But with VS Code, we can always add recommendations so that when someone installs this project, they can have a list of a recommendation for the tools or the packages. But I won't go that route because someone might use WebStorm or any other to write on this. So this serverless. Don't have parcel, don't have Next.js, I don't have parcel here. Then we ignore this yarn integrity file. I think I'll leave this. I don't need that. .npm test build info. This usually happens when I think you have an issue on your build. Typings. You don't need snowpack. Dependency directories, build dist. Those ones. Low script. Grant. Coverage. Those are for tests. Runtime data. Report. Diagnostic reports. Then we have the logs. So I'll just remove this extra line. So from here, we'll add this. So once we have that ignore, then here we'll just add the required dependencies. So because we had we already have a board, I'll show you now how we'll be connecting some of these things. Don't save. How we'll be connecting these things. So because we have already we've defined, we have a ignore, we have a package.json, and we have a readme file, then we have a log file there. So we go back to online here. If we refresh, you'll see we already have some list of files here. There is no folder. So we can start off with issues. So how you approach this, you come to issues tab here. Then you create a new issue. Okay. So you'll create a title, but you can have, instead of just having in this manner, let's just start off with because we need a CLI. So just maybe add folders for project. So let's say just need to add folder for project, then I'll submit this new issue. So if I need maybe to add files, someone can comment on this, but what I'll do is to assign to myself. So that means I'm working on it. We can add a label. Then we can create custom labels, but let me just call it enhancement. Then projects, I'll click on projects here, then mark it on kipJs. Okay. So once I make it on kipJs, it means we have it on kipJs here. If I have I have a milestone, then I will add it in the milestone. So once I have this, I'll come to issues. I think there's an issue here. Then I can create milestones. I click on milestones, create a milestone. Then let's say build CLI tooling for kipJs. So we can mark a due date as let me just go to maybe August, around 15th. Expected date to end. Then maybe I'll add a simple description here. We need tooling mechanism for operating the framework from CLI. So once you build this, we create this, I'll create the milestone. So once I have this milestone, then what I'll do, you'll see 0 complete, then 0 open, 0 closed. So if I get back to the issues, then add folders for the project, then the milestone I'll mark it as build CLI tooling for kipJs. So that means I have one task. So you've seen we've added a single task on the milestone. So if you can see already in the board we have statuses. So no status, I'll put this in to do. Then in the milestone, if I check on the milestones from this issues tab, milestones, we have one milestone. If you check, we have 0 complete, but 1 open. So if now we need to work on things, it would require us to work based on milestones. So GitHub has this dashboard. Instead of incorporating Jira, Trello, we can use just the GitHub dashboard for handling the project. So if you come to kipJs, then you'll see we have these tabs. Okay, one for, let me just switch a bit. So we have this item hasn't been started, then we have those which are in progress and those which are already done. So if you're done with something, you push it here. Okay. Then let me just show you how now you can close these issues. So another thing you can add here, you can add an item here. Let's say after adding the folder structure, then now create binary entry for executing the project. Okay. So once I add this, you see it's in draft. So because it's in draft, we can click here. Then there's an option of move to column, then copy link to project, convert to issue. So if I convert this to issue, I'll click convert into issue, then I'll assign a repository. So I'll push it to kipJs, then you'll see it's in to do. If I now come to maybe open kipJs, okay, I already have kipJs here. If we come to issues, you'll see we have create a bin entry for executing the project. So if I click on this, you'll see converted this from draft to issue now. Then you'll see it's already added to kipJs. Then we can select the milestone here, build CLI tooling for kipJs. So if I come back to the issues and come to our milestones, you'll see that we have 2 issues open, then 0 closed. So now how, if you're collaborating on working on this task, on such tasks, what you'll do is to, instead of now adding your personal commits, you'll just come to the issues, then let's say add folders for the project. I'll start with that. I'll just come here to maybe create a source folder. So once I have a source folder, I'll create an index.js, not JS, TS. Okay, so I have index.ts. Then what I can do here, just write what we usually start off with, log, just log keep. So with that, let's just I need to generate a TypeScript config. So you can write that by writing yarn or npx ts tsc. I don't know whether it is init or something. Okay, so with that, we generate a TypeScript config for this project. Then there's a point here I'll need to add some things here. So let's see. So I'll have declarations, source maps, maybe have them for now. Then out directory, I'll map it to dist. Okay. Then isolated modules, this module interrupt. No implicit any, I'll mark this as true. Strict null checks, mark it as true. Strict function types, mark it as true. Then no implicit this, mark that. always strict, mark that. Non-use local, so that means we can't build without when there is something which is not used. So you can't declare a variable without really using it. So non-use parameters, that makes sure that all parameters passed in a function or a constructor are used. Then exact optional property types. I think that I will just leave. With this, I think allow unreachable code. These are marked false. Then there is reserve constants source root map. New line here, I'll mark it as LF consistency. Then okay, nodejs. Resolve JSON module, I'll mark that as true. Then resolve package JSON imports, I'll mark that as true because we'll be using it to print the version. Resolve JSON module, resolve package JSON imports. Then okay. So with this, I think I'll make this as node next. Then root dir, mark it that. Then module detection auto command yes is yes 6. Okay, save it a bit. Option must be set to node next. Option module must be set to node next. Okay. Then from here, if we mark this as composite, meaning it can be extended, I'll leave that for now. So then we also have paths. That's now where we'll be setting our aliases. Then we can have an option here for experimental decorators. So decorators. So I'll enable these two. Experimental decorators metadata. So from there, I think we are good to go. So I'll try to import. So package.json package from. So this, I think we can just log here. kipJs version, then package dot version. Okay. pkg. So we can just import package.json there. Then we can add maybe let's call this CLI. Then we can node TSC. How should we call this? Okay, TS node then we pass src, then index.js. Yes. So then if we come back to our CLI here, we can just write CLI yarn CLI. Then you can see we have kip version 0.001. So that's one way we can execute this. So we need a way to build this. So build you can run np tsc .src. Okay, so if we run yarn build, let's call it that. So by just running tsc, we have our list here with it's building on even the package.json. Then if we check our src, you'll see we have our list. We have our index here. Then we also have our index map. So I don't know whether we can do an emit in single file. Where's the declaration? So with the declarations true, declaration map. Okay. Then there's also somewhere. Let's call it types. So if I rebuild this, we should have types folder generated here with index.b.ts. So we have src there. Okay. So we can just leave it at the way it was so that we don't have that. So already added a simple structure here. Then maybe I'll just add a folder known as version. So with this index.ts. So from there we can just import pkg JSON. If you have any questions, you can just ask in the chats. So we have package.json there. Then so we have version which will be pkg.json.version. Okay, then we can just export this. Okay, so if we need it here, we can just log tell that we can just log the version. Okay, not that one. Let's call it that. If we run it, then if we execute it, and CLI should still give us the same result. So I think we already have the folder structure. Then now what's left? So there are ways through which we can commit to the project. There are a variety of ways. Just here. There are quite some ways. Let me just try to look at how you can contribute. So add GitHub commits, referencing issues. So you can add commits that are referencing issues. So link a GitHub commit to an issue. So how do you do that? How to link? If you use a correct format in your commit message, your commit will be automatically linked to GitHub issue or pull request. To do this, put hash followed by the issue or pull request number. This will automatically create a link to the commit message. For example, if you made a commit to this, for the following flag, this gets automatically converted to fix bug that. Notice the link. Okay. You can also use prefix gh hyphen. This means the following commit. Okay. This is just how to link commit with Jira. Okay. So I won't go to the details here. I think I have what I need. So we have gh or username / repository hash issue. Okay. Or organization name. Okay. So okay. So what we'll do here, let's say I've added a way of what I've added here. Add version display on CLI via npm scripts and tsconfig. So I'll link this to, so now I need to link JSON. So then I need to link this to this issue that we had here with the folders. So this is issue number 1. So I'll just copy that, bring it here, then commit directly, then sync the changes. So once that is done, when we come back here, refresh, you'll see add version display on CLI. I think I need to fix this. Via, it should be via, not via. So I'll do a git commit hyphen amend. So let me just amend that commit. Where is it? So this should be via save, then just do that, then sync. Okay. So with the tree, these here, push. Okay, I think I'll fix that. Refresh this here. Yeah, it's fixed. So with that, I think we can proceed to other parts of setting up the okay. So just a minute. So we already have a commit here that is pointing to this issue. So once we have resolved this issue, then now we can, where's the board? So if I check this, you can be able to see the commits which have been pushed here from the board. So if you wish, you can always add a new view. Let's have like a table here. Then you can always view everything on this end, or you can add a view for a roadmap. Then with the roadmap, you can have dates specified here. So that will highly depend on how you want everything else to be seen, or how you want it to be operated. So for this, I think I'll try and look at okay, the building a CLI. So with nodejs, okay. So let's take this. As an example, bootstrap your project, bring commander.js, add some color. Okay. Okay, so let's you can read it here and decide if you want to use it instead of commander.js. User experience. Okay, let's improve our greeting. So, okay, let's see what's going on here. Okay, I'll try to use this. Yeah, I don't think if I need to reinvent anything, but there was something here. Or loaders. What other examples do you have here? Is it only one? We have aura. We also have. So let's start off with the help. I think so. We'll need a folder here known as commands. So that's where now we'll be storing our commands. Then we'll have index.js. Yes. Why do I keep on doing that? So we'll have our index.ts. Then let's have help.ts. Okay, so we'll have our. Should we have this as a dev dependency? Not really. So we need commander. If anything comes up, we'll just switch it up for something else. So for now, we'll just add commander chalk and yeah, commander and chalk. So after adding command and choke in the help part, I think let's see what we have for program. So commander.js. So how do you use it? Option. Okay. Program.name, version, description, element, string. Okay, so string util. Okay, so command. Okay, so we have choke and commander as program. Supposed to be command. So we just start off simple. So then, so let's call it program dot name. So what does the name mean? So program dot command. Util help split dot command split. So name kipJs, then dot description. So we call this backend framework. So then we can just call this let me see if there is something I worked on here that uses that. So looks like people didn't really. So let's look at this. Source commands, then you have the help. So create is this. Let's see. So how do we do this? Okay, so you have a command, you have a description. Okay, description, action help, Nice. So what we'll do here, just export here. I think this should be from this end. Then for the help, we just export default export function kipJs help. Okay. So then for this version, I think we'll move it here. Then okay. No. You can just go through. Okay. So we can rename this to version. So commands version. Let's see how this goes. Index.ts. Then we have that there. So how this program goes, you have this, I think, chalk. I will use chalk. So let's start off with help. So we can just write a sample help text. Help text, which will maybe have simple details. So kipJs CLI. So then we go to the new line. Then what you can add here, maybe help. Then this should display help for this application. So this application usage. Okay. So this should display help for this. Then can have version or v or just maybe version. So this will display a package version. So we can just start off with that. We can just then if we come and check here, so if we come here to help, you'll see we just log actually. So this I think, okay, Control Z. Just rub this with chalk yellow. So we mark that as yellow, then we log help text. To convert this file to extensive module, change its file extension to MTS or the field type module in. the package.json. So I think let's just type to module. Not sure what. Okay. Then program. Then we can say program dot name. Let's call it help. How did we do it here? I just need to reference on this. So command is help. Okay. Dot description. So what does alias do? Set an alias for this command. Okay, so you can add multiple names. I don't know whether this does an override. Let's say -v name version. So probably let's hope dot description display help text. Okay. Then dot action. So action that will pass the other function which is called now should be so the action we have there is help. So we need to export kipJs help here to this point, then import it here. So then if I think command document what do I do here? Okay. Dot name so let's just put all these in new lines. Then for the action we have kipJs help. So let me just comment this out so that what we have here. Okay, this is help. Actually, this is help, not version. So I'll need a version here also. So this action should be, let's call this version. So this should just export kipJs version, which should export function, which should just be a kipJs. So it's just log of version. And we'll have it as kipJs. We pass this here, the version itself. So we format that. Then from here we can kipJs version. For the version, I think I can just import that. Then we have this, and this should be just -b version display version text. So we have help here. Then at the bottom here we need to program dot parse. So that's for phase one. Then you can just import commands. So okay. Import commands. So if we run the CLI, so we'll get this. Apparently, Choke has an issue, and I think I'll need to downgrade this version because I need to just remove this type module from here. Then if I run this again, I'll see cannot find module help.js. Okay. So that's because choke. So I think there's somewhere where import no, that will do. Interesting. So we can go to choke documentation. I think it's 4.12. Which I add here. Yeah, it's this one. So we can add that specific version. Choke at that. So that's how you specify the version. Let me just press enter. Let's wait and see. Yeah, it should be gone. So then we can just have it as choke. So we can just use CLI. Still have that issue. Why is it resolving it as JS? Why JS? Interesting. Yeah, build. So once we build, let's see. So apparently apparently requires stuck. So how will we resolve this now? Oh, gotcha. Interesting. So apparently you can see we have so usage version, display help text, then you can see options -h help, display help for commands. So then for the help we can add a version. Let me see. So this is being processed, yes, but seems like we're not getting. Okay, let's link here. So there was this documentation we're following here on, I think, CLI. So apparently you have to add this. So bin, so we add a bin folder, bin here, then so this is now representing the CLI. For those who are just joining, welcome to the stream. So I'll label it as kipJs, then pointing to src index.ts. Start off with that. So after doing that, you run npm link. So let's see, yarn link. So let's try kipJs. Interesting. Okay. So let's yarn kipJs. Okay. What does this mean? kipJs. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so we already have, it's pointing to versions, this. Okay, so let's change this pointer to dist. Dist src, then index.js. So let's try a new link, then we can kipJs. Use strict not found. Okay, build. Whether you run it once or you run it kipJs. Use strict not found. Why? Interesting. So okay. Just okay. So apparently just see kipJs. Let's have it at default. Is here. CommonJS. Okay, not that. Then yes. So module must be set to next one option. Set to next. Let's see. Okay. So module resolution is node. Then we have CommonJS. So how do we operate this? So resolve JSON imports can only be used when modules are set to node 16. Interesting. And node 16. How? Node. This is really interesting. What do we have here? So do we have strict? Okay. Just So, okay. Remove the source maps. Then, so I'll add a new dev dependency and add development graph. So when you're building, we need to first remove so we need to clean up. So list. So yeah, then we build. So when we build, so then we project that. So we have this index.js from here. We can so initially what we had and link so yeah JS. Okay, interesting. So yeah, CLI. So if we just run yarn CLI, we should be able to see this default text. Then if we pass in CLI -version, I'm sure that it will pass the options. A non-option version. So in the version. So let's have it as a version. Okay, interesting. So here, let's confirm some things here. Just confirm it here. So how do we sort these now? We have these. How do we connect the dots? So we need, I think, conf somewhere. So let's see conf. So, okay. Okay. It's quite late here, so I think let me just sort this out, and I think now from there we can see on how to go about this. So we already have this help text being displayed here. Go to bold. Yeah, so we have kipJs displayed here, and so let's see. I don't know if the text is really working. These tags, are they really working? So FNH help should actually display this help text, but seems like it's not really displaying what we require it to display. So okay. Okay. Unknown command obey. So, okay. Okay, so Okay, yeah. Let's see what. So let's see. Nowadays also my Google package installed under my home by setup. That's what I believe. So since 2018, we haven't really had. Okay. Okay. Okay, so we don't have any. Okay. So bit of a strict mode. What does this thing? I think this. I will raise this as an issue. So I think should have setup commands. the issues. So hash2. So for hash2, reference execution. So cancel, then can do we really need this? Delete that file. Okay, I think I'll just hold it off here so we can continue on this tomorrow. I'm really tired from this end. Thank you for all that attended. Let's meet tomorrow. Bye bye, everyone.